First things first, you have to use a permanent hair dye. I'm using Wella 1N in the color charm line. This is what the closure looks like before. It's orange, brassy, and borderline looks bald, but it's okay because we are about to fix it. If you don't have any permanent hair color, you can use a rinse, but just know you'll be repeating this process because the color is not going to stay very long. After mixing your color and detangling your closure, you're going to part in maybe like half-inch sections and apply the color to the roots, trying not to get it on the lace. You're going to use a very, very light hand, mainly concentrating the hair dye on the tips of the brush. And then you're going to take a rat tail and comb it through, and that's how you're going to get closer to the roots without touching the lace. As you're doing this, you want to make sure that you are being mindful of the pressure that you're applying. You're not going to be able to get every single hair, and that's okay. At the end of the day, it is all an illusion. As you can hear, I'm a little under the weather, so I do apologize in advance because I know I sound a little gross, but I had to drop this video now or never. Sorry. As you're going through this process, there's no such thing as combing the lace too many times. The more you comb, the better your end result is going to be because you'll be able to see exactly how much of the dye you already have on there. You'll also be able to make sure that every strand has about the same amount of dye. You really cannot lose. So really just take your time, comb it through, and make sure you also comb it through towards the ends of the hair. You don't have to comb it all the way through the ends, but just in case you're using a color that's not the exact same color as the closure, you want to comb it down a little further down the hair strands just so it can blend better. Depending on how big your sections are, you may want to put some of the dye on the left side and comb that through before you part it and move all the hair over to the right side. You don't absolutely have to do that, but it does help you have even coverage throughout the lace. This closure is going to be parted in the middle, so that is where I'm focusing the most on. Of course, I'm taking my time throughout the entire thing, but I'm really trying to make sure that the middle looks amazing because I know that is where we're going to be parting. So just make a mental note of where you'll be parting your hair if you're using a closure, and if you're using a frontal, just do your thing all the way through because the last thing you want is to see that you missed a big patch. That part is really cricket, but it's okay. Clearly, making straight lines is not my thing. But now that we're pretty much done applying all the color, we're going to use that same comb and work the color through. We're going to comb as close as we can to the lace, not applying too much pressure, making sure not to rip the lace. We're just trying to make sure that the color is evenly put throughout the hair. I like to comb in different directions. So I'll comb to the left, the right, and then of course from the hairline backward. And now I'm also putting some of that dye on the hairline. After you're finished raking the color through, flip the closure over and just take a look at how well you did with your pressure. You shouldn't see a lot of dark spots on the lace. If you do, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but just next time, use a lighter hand or don't try to get so close to the lace. I was able to see that I missed a spot or two, so I'm just touching those spots up and then leaving the lace upside down so it can process. Use the directions on whatever color you're using, but I let mine process for about 30 minutes because that's what the instructions say to do. You can also eyeball it, but I like to just kind of follow the instructions to make sure I don't have to do this twice. This is what it looks like after processing. And now we're going to rinse it out, still holding it upside down. shampoo and condition it with whatever you like. I like Garnier Fructis, and then you should end up with something that looks like this. Very demure, very mindful. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for future videos, drop them below.